about the Messi thing.
Anything else on the Messi front, Chris, before we move on?
No, I'm done. I'm
falling out. I told you, I never want to bring this guy's name up again.
I don't know, man. This Messi thing is just a freaking mess. What a disaster.
I don't want to hear this name ever again until it's official. But they got me back.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Chris, the Herons are back. Welcome, everybody, to episode number 105 of the Battered Herons podcast. I am your host, Daniel Granada, and alongside me, as always, is Mr. KBD. How are you doing, sir?
It's a sad midnight, man.
Yeah.
It's just sad. It was awful. It was awful, my friend. It was.
And I'm assuming that the majority of people listening are going to be listening maybe tomorrow morning, because not many people are staying up late at night to hear this shit. Nobody's excited. I got to get up for work in 4.5 hours, 5 hours. So late night, but I you know what? We said we were going to do it, and I thought it was going to be a lot happier of a situation, but so be it. It is what it is, and let's talk about it.
Yeah.
I guess we'll start with the most obvious, right? Messi didn't start. Now, I personally didn't see this coming, right? How did you feel when you heard the news?
That's something I definitely didn't expect. I did think that he would play. I didn't expect him to start, but I did think that he would play. But your brother made an interesting comment where he mentioned that if he's not going to get up and play for this championship, then that means that there's some dark clouds ahead of us. He might not be playing for a couple games. If he missed the championship,
he better not play. Look, I don't want him to miss today.
I mean, at this point, I really
Saturday.
Yeah.
On Saturday, he all of a sudden shows up for the NYCFC game. No, chill. Like, you didn't play today. That's it. Like, just take the next couple weeks off. Because if you weren't ready today, just rest. Because today was the day, right? Like, we're like, let's hope and pray that we make the playoffs. Like, we're hopeful. But, like, if we don't make the playoffs, even though I think we still have a chance, so be it, whatever. Today was the day. The second trophy. That's what we wanted. And, man, that was tough news. That was really tough news to swallow.
It was brutal. And to be perfectly honest, it sucks to say it, but I mean, Clara is just Clara, you're scaring me. Mentioning in the chat, Messi is done for the season.
You don't think so, though?
If there's any extreme to go to, that is not the one I want to go to right now. And Jamila is also mentioning Messi would never miss a final. His injury must be serious. Listen,
I agree.
I agree the injury must be serious. It must be bad enough to where he doesn't want to get up and play a championship.
No, it has to be serious. Could you imagine him just showing up on Saturday or next Wednesday? Like, maybe next Wednesday, a full week later, it would be understandable in Chicago.
That would.
But I am almost 100% sure that the earliest we possibly see him again, if he plays again in the regular season, would be Cincinnati, which would be October 7th. That would be the earliest we see him again, which would be, and at that point, we've played against NYCFC in Chicago. At that point, we know if it's worth it playing. Because if for some reason we drop a game or two games, right, against NYC and against Chicago, at that point, let's just save him for next year.
Well, and Bonnie Grisson in the chat is also mentioning here, Tata said he will be ready for season play. It's like what Danny said. If he's ready for season play, then we're having riots out here.
No.
And
look, season play as far as Cincinnati.
Yeah. And Tharusha's mentioning in the chat, why did everyone lie to us about Messi's injury? One thing I want to bring up, and there is a person that is in the Inter Miami atmosphere. His name is Franco Panizo. Shout out to him. He talked a little bit about how Inter Miami is very hidden, very secretive with their injury and their injury information. Now, in Tata's defense, he's like, well, but why do I want to tell people what he's injured with, how long he's going to be out for? Granted, but at the same time, information does have to be given at some point, no? Or am I wrong about that?
Not in the MLS. Like, for example, in the NFL and the NBA and all those other things, gambling is a big deal, right? So, like,
Yeah.
the reason that they're supposed to have an injury report by Thursday or Friday for the NFL at least is
Yeah.
because people need the Las Vegas need to set those lines. People need to be able to wager depending on who's going to play and who's missing. And the MLS, I mean, betting isn't a big deal just quite yet. So I don't
Yeah.
see until they enforce it. I don't think that's going to be a big deal to anybody.
I don't think so either.
All right, so Messi out. We're not sure when he's coming back. Tata apparently said that he'll be ready for season play. If he is, it better be in Cincinnati. I do not want to see him on Saturday. I'm going to be highly upset because, I mean, dude, just play as a decoy and just walk around. Like,
Yeah. I mean,
like
you
if
walk
you're
around basically all game and then you just
look,
spaz
and
out.
I respect Messi as hell because I am 100% sure that if he could have played, he would have played.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, if it was bad enough not to play today, like don't play like half healthy on Saturday. Because if it was bad enough not to play today, he's not going to be 100% by Saturday. So
Yeah,
I don't
no
want to
way.
see you Saturday. Just rest. At this point, like this was the big one. Like it was, we got the Leagues Cup, we wanted the Open Cup, and now at this point, just rest, man. That's all I'm going to say. All right.
I agree.
So do you want to get into to the fun stuff, the game? Or do you
Well,
want to get in? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you still want to stick with the same sort of pattern, like the first half, second half sort of deal, where
Sure.
I mean, and there were some things that sort of stood out to me. Like, for example, I mean, I'm pretty sure a lot of us noticed that in the first half, this referee, and let me see what his name is, John Freeman. This guy was just yellow card happy off a rip.
It was a sloppy game to begin with. Do you want to start with the starting lineup, though?
You know what? Yeah, let's start off there. That's always a good starting point. Boom.
All right. So, a couple things. The first thing that stood out to me is that we both said that we thought that they would start with 5 in the back. As soon as I saw that they were going 4 in the back, I was very surprised that they started Gomez over Arroyo. Because when we have 4 in the back, Yellen and whoever our left back is, whether it be Noah Allen or Jordi Alba or what's his face, I just blanked on Punisher's face.
Oh, Negri.
Negri, thank you.
Yeah,
it's always up the left side. So we're left with just 2 center backs just defending everybody. So we always need that center defending midfielder to help out, to be that third defender. But once you take Arroyo out of the game and you put in Gomez and Kremaki and Busquets, like that's it. They all push up high. Yes, Gomez and Kremaki have the motor to get back, but for the most part, it's transitions constantly this way.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw. I don't know why they would start Gomez over Arroyo. Arroyo needs to start always, especially if we're playing 4 in the back, because our backs play like wing backs, even if it's only 4 in the back instead of 5. So I was taken aback by that. And then when you actually saw it play out, it was a mess. Gomez has been injured for the last couple of weeks. Randomly, we throw him into the starting lineup of a final. Like, I'm not sure why Gomez was out there.
I imagine that spark that teams typically look for to like get a real head start in the game. That's the only thing that I can imagine was the service that Gomez was going to be offering, because other than that, he has no composure. He's off the chain when it comes to the way that he plays. He plays super aggressive. He doesn't play as well defensively, or at least as disciplined defensively as Dixon Arroyo is. And a lot of people in the chat are really talking Arroyo up.
Well, I think Arroyo, although he's not like necessarily the best player in the world, I think he does what he's supposed to do well. He's supposed to stand up, be that third defender when the wingbacks are pushing up. He's disciplined. Like, I like seeing him out there when we have Busquets and somebody else. Like, you need somebody like a Gregory, like an Arroyo, when you have somebody like Busquets, because you can't depend on Busquets staying back defending. That's not what he's going to do, right? He's orchestrating the midfield, and we need him for that. He needs the freedom to roam. But when you have the freedom to roam, you need somebody staying back. And that's what David Ruiz does, even though David Ruiz does assist a lot more offensively, but he does that. Arroyo does that. And when all we're left with is Miller and Kristoff in the back defending transition, forget it. How many transition opportunities did they have in that first half? Like you knew that they were eventually going to score.
I want to mention, and eventually it was going to happen. It was inevitable. And Houston isn't a team that really is not strong in the offensive attacking, in their strategy. But there's somebody, I can't find the comment anymore, but somebody mentioned why Aviles didn't start, why he didn't play. And I'm going to tell you right now that Aviles, the center backs weren't the problem. The wing backs were just getting annihilated all game. They pushed up so high, there was no chance of recovery for them. And so, of course, Sergei Kristoff and Kamal Miller are going to look terrible against these speedsters on the side. So get out of here with this Aviles. Like if Aviles was going to make a difference, he would have had a red card in the first 15 minutes.
But I agree with them. If you're going to play with four in the back, you need some speed. Because, with the way that we play, and we play that high line all the time, we're so aggressive offensively that we need somebody that can get back defensively. And Aviles does that. You can't count on Kristoff and Miller to do that all the time. Even though, for the most part, they had a lot of chances, they really didn't convert. But it's rough. I mean, that one goal that they had, outside of the penalty kick, of course, like in game, the one goal that they had, it was off of a bad turnover by Farias. And Farias didn't have a very good game. Robert Taylor, ghost. It was just a bad overall game.
It was awful. It was awful on all fronts. Ben Krem also was someone that just, and I really don't want to, I hate to sort of like blast players in terms of like, oh, you suck, whatever. Like that's so easy for us as fans to say, but like Benjamin Kremaki, like he really didn't take advantage of the best opportunities he had, and he made a lot of boneheaded plays that put us in some real tough predicaments.
I hate when people say fatigue.
Yeah, man.
But at some point, like, is there a possibility that there is crazy fatigue? Like, they've been playing like crazy since the Leagues Cup started. I mean, if you think about it, I know Houston also played this past weekend. I think they played on Saturday, not Sunday, though. But they played this past weekend. We just got them playing against Orlando. Like, we've been playing nonstop. Like, at some point, it has to catch up to you, right? Like, I would hope that it wouldn't catch up to you, like, when you should be able to get up for these finals. But, and believe me, when somebody says fatigue, I'm like, oh, God, here we go again. But, man, maybe there's something to it, because they really looked slow and just unorganized, unfocused, lethargic. They couldn't connect more than two passes together. They were constantly turning the ball over. Now, I understand that Houston's strength is the midfield, and that's where they beat us, right? We kept giving the ball away, and then they would push it up immediately. But it's maybe fatigue does have something to do with it. I don't know.
Well, someone here mentioned in the chat that, and it's Orlando Smithers says, I think the only one who played well tonight was Joseph. Yeah, I mean, it helps that he got a goal. So that's one. We'll get to that when we get to the second half. I feel like Campana did okay. Other than Campana, listen, one person that I've been sort of talking a little bit more about recently is Stefanelli. Especially before he got injured, he was ticking upward in terms of what he can offer this team. He gets injured, he comes back. The minutes that he plays when he comes off the bench are good minutes. And when Stefanelli comes on for Ben Krem, I mean, it does give the team a little bit of a surge. I don't understand why Stefanelli, who is sort of a similar player to like Facundo Farias and to Messi, I mean, obviously, I'm not comparing him to Messi, but he's a very similar player in terms of like play style. How come we're not seeing him play as much?
This was a final, right, Chris? If we would have walked into that stadium and seen that lineup, and Stefanelli would have been out there over a Farias, over a Taylor.
Oh no,
Tell
not
me
starting, but
that you wouldn't. Oh, okay, okay. Because
yeah,
he
not
came in there
starting, but at
eventually,
least,
didn't he?
yeah, he came in like in the 84th minute, 85th minute. But I mean, why didn't he come in earlier? Like Ben Krem wasn't doing anything. And by the way, I just want to mention Rohan. Yeah, you're right. Look, Campana was a ghost. He was a ghost, but he didn't play awful. Like I'm talking about in terms of like putting us in situations where like these players are really they're doing the other team's job for them, essentially.
Yeah. Could we talk about that Campana point just real quick? Campana, I forgot who it was. Somebody just said that he did horribly. He was low rated. Campana
Yeah,
had
that
to
was
go
him.
to
Yeah.
the midfield to get the ball. Campana was
Yeah.
getting no service
He was
today.
doing an Higuain.
He because he couldn't get the ball. They couldn't find the ball. Like there was no way to get him the ball. Everything was wide. Everything was wide because they couldn't figure out how to break this team down. Unfortunately, once Messi is gone, we have no backup 10 that can be creative. Farias isn't that guy. He plays out in the wing. Ben Krem is more of an 8 than a 10, apparently. Like, we don't have that playmaker to break down a defense or create for others. So we went back to the whole go wide and cross it in. And I love Noah Allen. I've said it a million times. But Noah Allen cannot cross the ball in the air for his life. It's all low crosses. And the one time he tried to do it, cross it up in the air, it went into the stands, and I think it hit almost the guy next to me. Like it's unfortunate because that's what Jordi Alba brings as far as left back goes that Noah Allen lacks, and it's those crosses into dangerous situations. Campana had no chance of getting any service or doing anything, unfortunately.
Look at that comment. Look at that. Look
Neville
at that
ball.
comment right there. Neville ball by Joseph Jeem. Your comment is spot on, my friend. Spot on.
Yeah, but look, we couldn't break it down. And we had Joey from Bayou City Soccer on yesterday talking about this game, and he was helping us preview, right?
Bayou.
Whatever. Bayou. So he was on with us, and he said, if Houston scores first, they will buckle down and defend the rest of the game to make sure that they win. Now, what happened was that they didn't do that immediately. They kept pressing the situation, and they got that penalty. And once we went down 2-0, it was a wrap. I heard some people sitting around me were like, oh, Inter Miami's playing better the second half. It wasn't that they were necessarily playing better. It's just that Houston allowed them to possess the ball at that point. Yeah. At that point, they were playing the low block, and they said, good luck. Good luck breaking us down. Because you don't have to break us down just once. You have to do it twice now because we have a 2-0 lead. And at that point, we were lost. We did nothing. We couldn't figure out what to do or how to get the ball in. My neck started getting sore from going like this because it was just left to right.
Yeah.
Boom. Left to right. Like, let's figure out how to do this. Nobody knew how to cross the ball in. Nobody knew how to, it was really frustrating to watch.
Well, it was frustrating because it's like you said, that's the reason that Campana had to come up so much or come back so much because he just wasn't getting the service that he needed. So he ended up saying, I'm going to do Higuain right now, and I'm going to go back and get the ball and sort of try to muster up some sort of play in order for me to have a goal here. And that's why he's seen as, oh, well, Campana, you didn't really do too much. Like, of course he's not going to do too much. Nobody can pass him the ball if his name is not Messi or, I mean, Farias. I think he passed the ball one or two times to him. There were some times where Yedlin tried to get the cross in. Of course, Noah Allen as well. Listen, Noah Allen, if you put him with Joseph, I think it'd be good since he does low crosses. I think it'd work out. Joseph's good with the low crosses, so maybe
But what was our thing with Neville Ball? Our thing with Neville Ball is that he was doing that when Campana was injured, and we just couldn't get the ball to anybody. We knew that nobody was on the other end of those crosses because nobody could get it. It was Joseph trying a bicycle kick, and that was it. We got Campana there now, right? He could get some of those. We saw Messi hit him with those twice in that Cincinnati game. We made that comeback.
Yeah.
So get him in some service into the box, in the air. Like, let's do something. So it really sucked to see they just looked helpless. Unfortunately, they looked helpless. They just got outplayed, man.
Yeah, and Mike V is mentioning here that Campana gets a bad rap for doing too much, and Tank, aka Bruno, is mentioning that he finally posts some truth. But look at this right here, Danny. Osvaldo is mentioning that Farias's passing accuracy rate. And for those of you who are looking for that statistic,
no, don't, no, but you can't put that up there as fact without double checking it. No, what? I mean, you could say it, but we can't say it like we know 100% sure. We don't know if Osvaldo
allegedly, if you use the word allegedly, you can say whatever you want, right? I mean, that's like the number one broadcasting trick, right? So allegedly, per sources, Osvaldo R is verifying for us that Farias's passing accuracy rate is 30%. I wonder what his accuracy was with his left foot, guys. How many left foot passes do you think that he made? That's actually something I've been wanting to muster up on a weekly basis. How many passes we have with the left foot? But 30%, that's awful.
I don't believe that. I don't believe 30%. 30% is way too low. I don't believe that at all.
Where did you find that? Where's your sources?
30%, that's way too low. Farias, Osvaldo. I'm looking at for the season. For the season, he's averaging a percentage of 85%. For it to drop off to 30% in one game, I highly doubt it. Look, there you go. Thank you.
Hold on.
This I believe a little more.
Okay, wait. We got a couple more. We got Steve Munoz.
All right.
That also says 80%.
Rohan says 80%. Look at Chris ready to run with the controversy over here.
Allegedly, he was Osvaldo. You got it right though, baby. Laugh out loud. Allegedly, he wasn't good.
You're gonna throw 30% up there. Get out of here. You're ready to run with that 30%.
But that's why I threw the allegedly. If I'm wrong,
no, you threw it when I asked you to clarify. 80%. Yes, he wasn't necessarily at his best today. Hands down, wasn't his best game, but he passed much better than 30% out there.
You saved me from jumping on the grenade. I just tossed it down the street a little bit. It's okay.
I know you were not caring at all to double check that. I know you. You were ready to bench him.
I was ready to bench him. I was ready to sell him to the Miami FC, sell furniture down on Flagler.
All right. So Griffin Dorsey scored. Griffin Dorsey.
Guy's a cornball.
Isn't he?
First of all, wait. I want.
Isn't he their right back?
Griffin Dorsey is. Hold on, because I
weren't we talking about this just yesterday about
I think he's the left
Brooks
back?
Lennon, how Brooks Lennon, their fullback with Atlanta, killed us by kind of just working his way into the middle of the box and finishing because nobody would come and cover him. And
yeah, Griffin Dorsey's the right back.
There you go. And again, we got killed by a fullback because he gets lost in the sauce. Nobody kind of marks him. He kind of just drifts off into the middle on his own and kills us. So, man, that sucks because Joey was telling us about your boy Dorsey also.
I want to mention something here. Talking about Dorsey, since he scored a goal for the Houston Dynamo, right? If you guys were watching, especially live in the chat, please stick with me in saying that it is the corniest song celebration I've ever heard in sports. I thought that the Dolphins song celebration for touchdowns was bad. This Houston Dynamo song was absolutely horrid.
It wasn't that bad.
It was horrible.
It wasn't that bad.
Putrid. And first of all, is it Mike Jones that's rapping that song?
You know what? I thought it was Mike Jones. I thought it was Gucci Mane.
There's no way. It's Mike Jones that sings that song. If there's anybody here that knows that information and could just feed it through, and I'll pass it over allegedly, let's go, baby.
I thought it was a Gucci, but then I was like, but Gucci's from Atlanta. It makes no sense. So maybe you're right. It is Mike Jones.
Somebody asked, from Houston, I think.
Mike Jones is from Houston. Somebody asked if I still think we're making the playoffs. Honestly, I still do believe that we make the playoffs. Look, Houston has been hot recently, right? They had a little hiccup against Kansas City, but allegedly the best song ever. Wow, look what you have started, allegedly. But Houston has been on a hot streak. They're like what, third in the West? The competition we have coming up in the next 5 games outside of Cincinnati are all bottom of the table. So I do think that we can win 4 of those 5, and I do think that 90 Day Fiance is Soldier Boy. Yeah. Mike V knows I'm talking about. I do think that we can win at least 4 of those 5 because we do play bottom of the table teams. But if we look as bad as we did today, obviously that'll change. But I do think we could, still make the playoffs. If we lose to NYCFC on Saturday, then obviously I'll change my mind.
It's a wrap.
But
yeah,
I do think that we can make it.
Yeah, it's a wrap. I mean, I think we're still gonna make it, but if we do lose NYCFC, I think it's definitely a wrap.
What I look like? How I wonder what kind of music people think I listen to. I'm a hip hop head.
But
I'm a hip hop head.
Yeah, but Gucci Mane ain't no hip hop. Gucci Mane's brutal.
Look, I'm not gonna get into hip hop talk right now. I don't think Gucci Mane's brutal.
You don't want to, because if you're gonna start off by saying that Gucci Mane is a rapper, then you need to Gucci Mane your way out of here. Allegedly,
he is. Whatever.
He's not a good
get into
rapper.
this. I'm not.
It's just a guy.
All right. So second half, Chris. We gave up to go to Dorsey, and then DeAndre Yedlin. People are killing him because he was the captain and he cost us the game. I agree. Somebody just commented, if we lose to NYCFC, it's a wrap. I agree. If we lose to NYCFC, I do think it is a wrap. And you see that MJ also. Okay, so I got Nirvana, I got Michael Jackson, and the GOAT Jay-Z. I'm all over the place.
Mike V's asking for a battered hip hop fans.
Oh my God, Chris would love that. I couldn't.
I would die for a hip hop fans podcast, guys. You don't want it.
Oh no. Chris is.
I would.
All you're gonna hear about is just Onyx all day. All right. Second half, Chris.
So second half, we ended up getting started where Robert Taylor gets off the field. Joseph comes in for him. I was kind of surprised that Taylor came off instead of Noah Allen, because we talked a little bit in the halftime. I thought that maybe Taylor would take over for Noah Allen, but that didn't happen.
No.
And then
Arroyo,
and then Arroyo came in for Gomez. So,
well, that's like I said, I felt like this should have been the move from the start. I don't know if anything would have been different, but I definitely think that should have been the move from the start, because he solidifies our defense a little more. So, why are we taking shots at Super Mario?
I don't know. Listen, we're having fun out here, guys. We lost.
No, we have not. We have to have fun. We need Daniel to get angry. Oh, I see. Well, I will tell you that I was sitting in section 124. I was row 2.
I know what you're going to talk about.
And I was sitting 2 chairs away from this guy that looked like Dwight Schrute. He was a Houston Dynamo fan. And he was loud and obnoxious as hell. And it quickly triggered me. And I got very upset. So I started going back and forth with him like a minute or 2 into the game. Then my wife kind of stepped in and told me to calm down and to stop. And
I wish I would have been sitting there.
And I said, it's fine. But what my mistake was, I decided to listen to my wife, because I said, when Miami scores, oh boy, I am going to yell in this motherfucker's face so loud. And for the most part, I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say anything because
well, at least not until the 90th minute. I mean, but by then I wouldn't say it.
No, at that point, like, what are you gonna say? Yeah, at that point I couldn't say anything. All I could say is like, open cup's the best thing you could do. That's all I had. That's it. Well, that's all you'll ever win.
Conley, Danny is probably allegedly upset because Steve Munoz is coming here with a hot take that pancakes are a dessert, not a breakfast item. Changed my mind. That's insane.
I mean, I could see that. My son asked for pancakes as dessert all the time.
So those 2 players came in. You thought that we would see some sort of a resurgence in our offense, which, I mean, we possessed the ball a little bit more, right? Later on in the 76th minute, we had Yedlin come off and Ruiz come in as a right back, which was weird.org. And then Houston Dynamo brought in 3 players as well around the 79th and 84th minute. And then we ended up bringing in Stefanelli for Ben Krem, which thankfully that happened. And then Joseph ended up getting the goal on the 90th plus 2 minutes, which was a really nice assist by Farias. Mm-hmm. Is it Farias or Farias? I'm going to have to listen to like,
okay, I believe it's Farias.
Yes, I think it is Farias, but he had a really good assist to Joseph, and I'm happy that Joseph got the goal, even though it sucks. It's not going to count towards like his like MLS goals, but I'm very happy that he ended up getting a goal. And Tharusha in the comments saying that the refs were shit. Yeah, for sure we should have had 8 minutes. It was brutal. That referee was horrid.
Well, and their goalie, my God, was he wasting time?
Yeah.
Now, when we scored in the 92nd minute, I really thought that there was a chance we would tie this. The crowd got into it. They were chanting "Si se puede," and it was really cool. No se pudo, but it felt like there was a legit chance. I was like, you know what? This might be one of those magical moments, right? Because we've had so many with Messi already and the Leagues Cup and all that other stuff. It's like, you know what? Maybe. And I mean, those last 5 minutes were pretty cool. That was like a fun stuff to watch.
Corner after corner, and then you have potential chance, another chance. So I mean, when you have so many opportunities just jam packed within that time, I mean, it definitely sort of helps to amp up the crowd, because the crowd was defeated in the second half.
Well, and Giovanni, I understand what you're saying, right? Any team that misses their best player usually suffers, right?
Yeah.
Like you take Vela out of LAFC, all of a sudden they suffer, right? Back when he was at the top of his game, right? Now, maybe not right now, right? You think of any team, right? Acosta in Cincinnati, you take him out, all of a sudden they suffer. Like when you take the best player out, they usually suffer because they depend on him.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, Messi has started some games. Has come in some games in the second half that he hasn't started. And I want to say, I might be off, but I think all of them, when he came into the game, Inter Miami had a lead. So I'm not saying that they're better without him, but I'm saying that they can produce without him. Now, I don't know at what point they found out that Messi wasn't playing. Like, do you think that this was like common knowledge in the locker room, and then they just let everybody else know, like right before the game? Because if they find out like an hour or two before the game, 3 hours before the game, that has to be a mood killer also, no?
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, if you're finding out a couple hours prior, I mean, it's like you said, you're about to play without your best player, without the best player, not just your best player.
Hold on. Let me talk to Banny a second. Banny said that I yelled at everyone last week for saying we needed Messi.
Oh man, son.
Yes, we do need Messi. Obviously, he's the best player in the world. What I said was that if Messi isn't on this team, this is still a playoff team. This is still a good team, even without him. Yes, I understand that today they look lost. That's fine. If they look this bad on Saturday against NYCFC, then maybe they are just a horrible team. But I think with the players they have, if they start Arroyo instead of Diego Gomez with running around like his head's chopped off like a chicken or whatever that saying goes, I think that they do play well without Messi. Like, I'm not saying that they're as good, because obviously Messi attracts a lot of attention. Jordi Alba on the left side, swinging in those crosses helps a lot also. Like, this is a good team, even without Messi. Now, obviously, we need Messi. We don't win the Leagues Cup without Messi.
No.
100% we don't. Right? But I'm saying that if we would have had this same exact squad from the beginning of the season, I think we're a playoff team. And you can't change my mind.
Well, and that brings me, and I'm going to mention Steve's comment before I get to the comment that I really wanted to look at.
But that's half the league. Half the league are bad teams.
Yeah.
We're playing a lot of those teams. Yeah, maybe we won't beat the Cincinnati's, but we'll beat a Toronto. We'll beat a Kansas City. Did we not beat those teams?
For those of you that are on audio, Giovanni F just chimed in, but those were bad teams like NY and Toronto. And now Danny is full-blown upset, guys. Look what you guys did.
I'm just saying, like, NYCFC sucks. We have them on Saturday. Chicago next week, Wednesday, suck. We have them. We have Charlotte twice. They suck. They suck twice because we play them twice. Tell me we can't beat those teams with this team? Get out of here.
Get out of here, guys. Come on. So, Tata Martino made the biggest mistake of not replacing Messi with Ryan Saylor. That's what Don Capacito is saying. Now, this is a good question by Mohammed, though. He's asking, next season, do you think Messi can play a full season and not get injured if the MLS match schedule remains this busy? That's a really good question, Mohammed. And I'll tell you, it really does matter on the frequency of games because League's Cup has been brutal for all the teams, especially Inter Miami. Sahil, come on, man.
Yes.
You're gonna come in with
Messi.
with
everybody
the
needs
burger?
their best player, guys. Yes, everybody needs their best player. Like, how is this like? Yes, we need Messi. Shocker.
I think it's pretty obvious for all of you that are in the chat, especially for those that appreciate Messi as the greatest player of the world, right?
I agree, Tank. And happy late birthday, Tank.
I understand that we do know that Messi is the best player in the world. We do know that we need him. We are not saying he is terrible. We are not saying that we're going to win the whole thing without him. But come on. What are you guys doing, bro? This is terrible. This is terrible, Danny.
It is. It is terrible. Do you want to address all the crap that Orlando fans are talking? I know yesterday we were on here and we were talking about how it's not really a rivalry.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate them. I hate those fans. They're so fucking annoying. They really are. They're here talking about how they're the only Florida team to ever win the U.S. Open Cup. It's some stupid journalist from Orlando. That guy's an idiot. He's like, oh, we're the only Florida team to ever win that U.S. Open Cup. You guys have participated in that tournament like 10 times. It took you like the 10th turn to finally win it. This is our second year in it, and we made it to the final. Like, they're like, oh, but we have more trophies. It's like me going up to like a kid that graduated from high school last year and being like, I have more college degrees than you. Well, no shit. He just graduated from high school. You're a fucking idiot. That's a stupid ass comparison. Fucking idiots.
But Orlando is just awful, just at totality, as a team, as a fan base. They're just a bag of doinks. They're all doinks. Doink the clowns.
They're like, oh, we're so great. It took you 6 years to make the playoffs. 6.
They have people buying fake Messi jerseys.
Were they?
Yeah, man. You didn't see that picture by Matthew, Money Matthew? It was a video that he took of an Orlando fan over by Exploria Stadium.
Okay.
At Exploria Stadium last week with a Messi jersey in his hand. So LaRuel Douglas is commenting here. What is he commenting here, Danny? Come on, for the audio fans.
He's saying that I'm saying that they were a good team without him. Let's be honest. We played good without him, ? Except Toronto, which is a bad example. Well, first of all, we beat KC, and KC just beat this Houston team.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is that they would be a playoff team. That's what I've said. We can make the playoffs with this team from the beginning of the year. We would be a playoff team without Messi. I do believe that. Do I think we would be a top team in the league? Maybe not. Do I think we would win any titles or trophies? Yeah. Maybe not. But I think we would be a playoff team. That's what I've been saying since whenever it was that I started saying this. That's all I'm saying.
Factual Fruit is just on the money here with his comment in the chat that the Messi movement, it's a little annoying. That's all we're gonna hear, that we can't do anything without Messi. I mean, can't wipe our butts without Messi, can't eat food without Messi. When the sun comes up, guys, tomorrow morning, it's because of Messi. It's not because of anything else that has to do with anything else. It is all because of Messi, guys.
Yeah, I mean that is a very annoying part of losing, right? Like that's why when I found out he wasn't gonna play, I was like, man, if we win, it's gonna be really nice. Because people will just stop saying that. Because if you think about it, everybody's like, oh, Messi. Like I understand that he played that Cincinnati game where we had that comeback, but for the most part, he played in one game this tournament. Like we made it this far, and he played one game. Like we beat Nashville, right? Like Orlando's celebrating because they beat a USL team at home and got 3 days before they got that game rescheduled.
Yeah.
Like we did pretty good up until now, getting to this point, and for the most part, it was with your boy Neville.
Well, and funny thing that you mentioned Neville, because if we were to talk a little bit about Neville, Harvey Neville has more.
Messi. I don't hate Messi. I just hate everybody's obsession with Messi.
Harvey Neville has more wins in the U.S. Open Cup than Messi. That's the truth. right? So
2 assists. Yes, exactly. Like I know he would have those 2 assists in the Cincinnati game were crucial for sure. But we got to that point. I remember when we first signed Messi, I said I believe that there's more of a chance of us making the playoffs and winning the League's Cup than the Open Cup. I don't know why I always thought, maybe it's because I hate this cup, that I always thought that it was so like far-fetched for us to win the Open Cup. And but once we beat Cincinnati, I thought it was in the bag. I mean, joke's on me, I guess.
Danny, you need to be careful because you're treading on real heavy waters right now. You're about to get the whole squad that Messi cancel you tonight. So you need to be careful on how you tread here tonight because you're starting to allegedly get close to the Messi.
I'm talking about the tournament. The tournament. The U.S. Open Cup tournament started. When was it? Like in March? Like we made it all the way until August, winning games. Like we didn't get a bye. We didn't get to skip all those games because we knew Messi was coming. We had to win every game until we got to that semifinal. We got this far. So bottom of the table in the season, I agree. Yes, you're right. I'm talking about the tournament, the U.S. Open Cup tournament. We got that far without Messi.
It's been brutal. And Tank is mentioning, how do we lose at home, though? It's embarrassing. Listen, this home schedule that we've had this year is nothing like it was last year. Last year, we were beasts at home. This year, it's not like that. Rohan, what are you doing, Rohan? Before Messi came here, we didn't have 100 subs, Papa.
Look, yeah, tonight was a rough night. Like,
it was.
I was talking to my brother, and I said the Miami Dolphins scoring 70 points was like the worst thing that could have happened to Miami sports. That was like the peak, right? Because it's been a wild, like 6-month run for Miami sports. Then all of a sudden they hit that mark, and I feel like everything's just gone downhill. The Mets like purposely rain out the Marlins. Damian Lillard announces that he's going, or he gets traded to Milwaukee. Everybody thought it was a shoo-in to come to Miami. Messi all of a sudden is injured. We lose the final. Like, this is a disaster.
I want to mention something here, and yeah, it is a complete utter disaster. And Factual Fruit is dropping some dimes right now in the comment section saying Higuain went beast, Messi ain't beasting. Does that mean that Higuain is the better Argentine for Inter Miami? Don't get canceled out here, Factual Fruit. You can get it too, bro. You're going to start catching some strays, Baba.
And I just want to address Giovanni. Your obsession with Messi doesn't bother me. I get why everybody's obsessed with him. My problem is that you guys are so obsessed that you blindly kill Inter Miami just to defend Messi, to prop him up. In your mind, if Messi doesn't play another game, Miami's going to be like completely abolished. Like the Miami Fusion, they'll stop existing. Like they will no longer exist on the face of this earth. That's what annoys me. So that's what annoys me. Not that Messi, yeah, you could be as obsessed with Messi. Look, we took pictures of people with Messi Houston Dynamo jerseys. Cool. They're that big of Messi fans. That's fine. They want to root for both at the same time. What annoys me is that everybody thinks that Inter Miami only exists because of Messi. I understand that they're only this popular right now because of Messi, but they will continue to exist. And if he wasn't playing, they would still be a playoff team. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, man. I agree with you. And Juan,
because they're 3 years old.
You got to read the comment. The audio people have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
So Clara's mentioning Danny Inter has no history, bruh.
And I
bruh.
And I replied because they're only 3 years old. Of course they don't have any history. They're only 3 years old.
So Juan de Oliveira is mentioning, what's up with the pitch? Slip and falls everywhere. It was pouring almost like a hurricane.
It was raining all day.
Before the game, yes. Luckily, during the game, it wasn't raining. It was beautiful weather. It was actually decently cool. So there's that. Clara, you're right. Messi is bigger than the MLS. You are right.
But when Messi retires, the MLS will continue to exist.
That is true. That is true. And Yamila is mentioning, nobody said that, but without Messi, this team is bad. That's all we're saying. I don't even know what to.
They're not as good. Definitely not as good. 100% not as good. I don't think that they beat Cincinnati without Messi. They wouldn't have made the final, and they definitely don't win the League's Cup. 100%.
Listen, and Factual Fruit, he's on it today. Whoever Factual Fruit is, you're on it, Papa, for sure. And Rohan is mentioning, were Miami today bought, not made? Listen, I mean, we weren't bought, we weren't built. We were like, I mean, it was, guys. This game, everybody was hopeful that we were gonna win, and we had Tactical Manager on last episode, and it looks like he jinxed us for this when he said, "Look, I just don't want to see him win everything." So, guys, prepárate, because the MLS Cup's in the bag. We just had to sacrifice the U.S. Open Cup.
I don't know.
That's it, guys.
Look, if you think about it, and MLS will continue to exist, but nobody in the world would watch it. If you say so. Look, people stopped watching La Liga once Messi and Ronaldo left. People stopped watching Ligue 1 once Messi and Neymar left. So people in France still watch Ligue 1. People in the United States will still watch MLS. That's the way it goes. So, yeah. I mean, you're probably right. What were we just talking about? I'm sorry.
Well, I just wanted to mention Mike V. Higuaín over Messi, allegedly. I mean, that's gold.
I think we're just gasbagging at this point.
We are kind of gasbagging. We are.
So it was disappointing. I thought it would be really cool to win 2 trophies, even though I've said, and you've been listening long enough, I'm not the biggest fan of the U.S. Open Cup, but I thought it would be really cool to have 2 trophies back to back, right? 1 month separating them. MLS Cup, unfortunately, even if we make the playoffs, which I still think we have a chance to, but even if we do, if Messi isn't healthy, I don't think we're going to win it all. Because, I mean, as soon as we make the playoffs, first round would be Cincinnati, and it would be a best of 3. And that would be tough. And then at that point, you just get the ball rolling. So definitely going to be tough.
I want to go through some comments here, Danny. Mr. Krabs, you're already trying to fire Tata? Zidane, you want him to coach our team? Is that what's happening, guys? That's what we're doing now. We're gonna fire the newest coach that we just got like 5 minutes ago. And Supercalifragilistic is mentioning PSG. Nobody watches it now, which I 1,000% believes. Mohammed is mentioning. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Mohammed said, well, one, he doesn't hate me, and I appreciate that because I have an opinion, but he doesn't like the MLS match schedule. I also don't like the way it's so congested, especially for somebody like Messi at 36. I think it's because of this new Leagues Cup. Obviously, I think they have to look into it, right? Because not only this Leagues Cup, but there's so many other tournaments that all of a sudden the MLS is going to be involved in, Inter Miami specifically, that they have to figure out, one, either a way to raise the salary cap to bring in more depth pieces or spread out the schedule. I don't know what they're going to do, but like for Inter Miami fans listening, if you wanted the Open Cup, like this was the year to get it. I don't think next year, I don't think there's going to be any priority put to it because there's going to be so many other things going on at the same time that, I mean, unless our B teams are strong enough to win those first couple rounds, I think that this was the chance to get that Open Cup title, unfortunately.
And I want to bring something up real quickly, and just so you guys know, in our last podcast, in our last episode, we talked a lot about sort of what the best ideas are for salaries and DP positions, and I want to bring up a comment real quick by Factual Fruit, guys. He's mentioning, guys, I'll be at the Fusion get together next week, guys. If you guys don't have your tickets, I believe they're free, right, Danny? You can be able to get on there.
Yes. I don't have the link here with me. We need to have that link here ready to go whenever we're on an episode. But
I'll give you guys some of the details. So just remember, on October 6th, okay, and this is at at 8:00 at night, Miami Fusion is going to be recording a live podcast going over some of the history 25 for 25 podcast. It's going to be at 1921 Hollywood Boulevard. In case you guys are interested in going out there and supporting Joe Shaw, because he's doing a great thing, and supporting everything that Miami Fusion was in the past. So we're going to be out there for sure.
Yeah.
It's going
to be next
fun.
week? Is that next Friday already?
Yeah, it is. Next Friday.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That snuck up on me.
We're almost in Christmas, guy. Yeah.
Bro, this is crazy. Time's flying. All right. Any final thoughts or any final comments that you want to get through?
Listen, the game sucked today. Let's move on. Hopefully, we can be able to win against NYCFC in a real soccer field this time, right? And a football pitch. Sorry, guys, don't cancel me. Allegedly.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I have a feel- and NYCFC right now are in 9th place.
Yeah, we'd be jumping up.
Yeah, if we beat them, and obviously the Red Bulls, Chicago, and Charlotte all lose or draw, we'd jump over them and end up in the 11th seed, and we still have 2 games in hand over the 9th and 10th seed, which are NYC and DC United. We're still in. If we beat NYCFC, we're still in good shape. So
well, and then you also have to factor in that the Red Bulls play Chicago. You have New England that plays Charlotte. You have Orlando City that plays Montreal, which that's not going to really make a big difference. Toronto plays Cincinnati, same thing.
No, Montreal and NYCFC have the same amount of points.
That's right. Yes,
so,
I got them confused with Toronto. Sorry.
So that's actually great because look, if Orlando beats Montreal, we gain points on Montreal, which is the 8th seed.
Yeah.
And if Montreal somehow beats Orlando, all of a sudden Orlando has a serious chance of falling all the way back to 6th seed if the teams right behind them win. So I mean that's almost like a win-win, right?
Yeah, it's a for sure win-win. And then New England plays Charlotte. Hopefully Charlotte takes a L. Red Bulls and Chicago play.
If we make the playoffs, anything can happen. If Messi's playing.
Joe, if you want to see how pissed we were, just watch from the beginning of the podcast. It's going to be a good time, Joe. I promise you. And if it's not, I'll buy you a beer.
I don't see how this was a good time at all. And then everybody why is everybody always hating on my Messi takes? I fucking love Messi. I do.
Because you're a Real Madrid fan.
Is that why people hate on me?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I'm going to sound like I'm a diehard Real Madrid fan. Like, this is the only crest I really care about right here.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody disrespects it when they talk about Messi.
Guys, respect the crest, bro. Messi is that guy, but that
I love Messi. I'm so happy he's wearing it.
Yes.
But don't disrespect it. It's my baby.
Yeah. Well, people would like Mad Danny. Listen, that's it. Let's wait for Saturday. Sunnier days are ahead. U.S. Open Cup just wasn't for us this year, and we'll take it back next year. Don't worry, guys. We got it on layaway. Oh man, I just exposed you.
I don't know why you did that. That's it. People that thought I hated Messi, forget about it. It's not coming back now.
He never put Messi over Ronaldo. I never put Ronaldo over Messi, guys. By the way, just so you guys know, full context.
Thank you. At least you give me that. At no point that I, even when they were at their height of their rivalry, that I ever think Ronaldo was better than Messi. But look at this. Thank you, Chris. Oh, there you go. All right. There we go. And Steve, it's on its way, Steve. I'll send you the tracking. All right. Well, that's a great way to end it. Thank you, Chris. Fuck you for that. If you are listening on audio, we appreciate you listening all the way to the end. Please, I don't even know if I want you to comment because I don't even know what you're going to write. But if you're going to write something nice, go for it. If you're going to give us 5 stars, go ahead. If not, just end it now. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Like and subscribe. And if you are part of the comments and you are hating on me, I understand. Chris is a gas bag. And, like and subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate you. And that's it. This is a horrible night. I have to wake up in like 4 hours to go to work. And F everybody.
Guys, go 5-star and put down Ronaldo sucks. Do that, please.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. His gas bag ass over there in Saudi Arabia acting like he's bringing everybody over. Like it's not the oil money bringing everybody over there. Dumbass. All right.
Good night,
All right,
everybody.
guys. Sorry, we're just gas bagging. All right. Until the next one, have a good one.